And welcome to the No Show Sportscast First Pitch Face-Off Kickoff Tip-Off. Here for you Mondays and Fridays. I'm Matt Klein. The Vancouver Canucks lose Thatcher Demko for 2 to 3 weeks, possibly, maybe even longer. I wouldn't be surprised if this just is held out until mid-April. Once the playoffs begin, we can ride that wave. The Canucks are looking at a steady pace right now, just gliding all the way to the end of the finish line here as the regular season it's coming to an end. Like, let's be honest here. The Canucks, they could lose 2 of their next 15 games, and they're still going to find themselves among the division leaders there in the Pacific Division in the Western Conference. So they have 16 games left, and they have 91 points and 42 wins. So this right now is sliding them right up into the top right there, next to Florida, next to the Bruins, who fell to St. Louis on Monday. I mean, this team is just getting more and more confusing, but that's exactly what I would like, because I want to see the Bruins take on the Maple Leafs in the first round. So if they could stay down there, get Florida, just chill, get that President's Trophy again, and just make a huge fool of yourself like you did 2 years ago when you lost, got humiliated, ignominiously swept by the Lightning in the second round. So, but back to the Canucks. Let's go back a few. Let's back it down. Okay, let's relax. The Canucks, everything has been going great. They had a little bit of things weren't going so well. That was back in February. But ever since March began, they've been able to just slow and steadily take care of business against teams that just maybe they could give them a run for their money, maybe put up a few goals on them. But the fact of the matter is the Canucks have just been so good defensively because of Demko, because of their defensive unit. The trade deadline turns out to not necessarily be something that the Canucks cared about or needed. We're just going to be making our trades during the season, and that's exactly what they did. No need to flip Elias Lindholm, because I'm pretty sure if you keep him on the third line, he's going to find his way, and he's going to find the back of the net. That's what he does. That's his thing. But the biggest concern here is Thatcher Demko. And it's just so difficult to see this because you see that President's Trophy and you're thinking that they're going to end up there. They're going to end up at the top, finish at the top of the Western Conference, or maybe just all of the NHL there. And we know that this isn't the goal. And the individual achievements like Pettersson getting to 40 goals, I hope that happens. Miller getting there, of course, as well. 32 and 31 each right now, respectfully. And right now, those kinds of things are important because they have, to some extent, taken care of the regular season right now. And Demko going down, maybe that puts a riff, but I just don't think that's going to throw everything off and just change the entire momentum of the team, because their trajectory is still the same from what I'm seeing. A couple of difficult opponents, but they've been able to beat them. They've been able to shut down. I thought that Vegas, with a great start that they had at the beginning of the season, was going to be contending and have about 90 points by now, but they just don't. They are trying to figure it out, just kind of like how the Oilers have been all year. But that's okay. That is totally fine. And it helps out the Canucks because they don't have as much pressure now. They really don't. Especially being 10 points ahead of the Oilers. Like, that creates a huge, huge cushion for Demko, who shouldn't, the Canucks know all about not being content with whatever their situations may be, because they know that there's always more that they can get being around for 54 years, and it's just looking that way for them. It's looking like they can put their foot off the gas pedal, and that's kind of what they were doing in February, but realizing that, hey, we got to kind of step up our game here, and beating good teams like LA, like Vegas, like Winnipeg. So I'm surprised, and like, this kind of thing can interrupt a team. Casey DeSmith has filled out nicely for the games that he's been playing because he has had to step in there. And so, I don't know, we're going to have to see that unfold. But there really, I don't think, is a huge amount of pressure that the Canucks have. Again, this Pacific Division is just so unthreatening. Like, that's the reality. It's like LA can surprise you with a nice, decent beatdown of a team that you think is also going to be up there. and Vegas you thought would be right at the top. But there seems to be so many of these teams that are just kind of, they're good, but they're really not convincing that they're going to run away with this. It's like, who's the team that you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's a team that's noticeably better. Like in 2022, I think we all thought that Colorado was better. Even last year when Vegas won, I wasn't surprised. They did seem to be the best team in the league, and it kind of just ends up that way when they end up winning the Stanley Cup, whichever team that may be. Of course, the Lightning were considered underdogs almost immediately once the next schedule comes out, or free agency. Just look at the players, look at the guys that they're going to lose. They're going to fall down and not going to be able to come back up. Well, it's been a while. It's been a while since my Lightning have been a wild card team. 7 years, in fact, because it wasn't until 2017 they were that kind of team. They were a wild card team, but they did fall out of the final spot there to Toronto. Them and the Islanders also did as well. Oh man, that was a very disheartening year. Second full year with Vasilevsky and Stamkos missing a lot of time. That is going to do it to you. That is just going to mess everything up when you got your best player battling injuries, not knowing if he's coming back. And that's something that every team, I think, it's just how they are built, the longevity, where they're headed, and looking back. I mean, it's just been such a great run for the Lightning. But, I mean, this is just like, what more do the Canucks have to do to like, I just don't know. Like, what more? They seem like that team. I don't really care about their history. I don't. Of course, none of this matters if they gets bounced in the first round. So let's hold off, okay? Let's maybe just appreciate what's going on right now, and take care of Demko, patch him up, come back in 4 weeks. Take your time. Knee issues, it's tough with goaltenders. You know, I was a goaltender for 4 years, and I just didn't really know. Well, I didn't really know how injuries were gonna, if they were gonna affect me a whole lot. I figured maybe just the groin area the most. I mean, it's such a awkward position, and the only injury that I did have in my career happened off the field. So I was fooling around playing football, and in the end zone, I caught the ball and just tripped on a bit of concrete there, snapped my femur, and I missed most of the year that year when I was in high school. But I still, I mean, I really wonder where, like, how our team would have been that year if I wasn't injured. I mean, I was just completely gone. I don't even remember what happened. If they obviously they had to get another goalie. We didn't have another. Well, maybe we did, but I don't remember. This is so long ago now. But yeah, I mean, like, your goalie goes down. I'm so glad that for the provincial championship that I was able to represent BC. For that was the year prior, and I was the starting goalie there. We had an excellent backup goaltender as well, but that year that I was injured, that was tough. I mean, I really don't remember what happened to our team that year, but I did come back the next year. But we really weren't like as good as we probably could have been. Maybe the older we got, the other guys were just getting better and better too. You know, they were better than I was when I was younger. So I mean, I got my MVP trophy right here. But anyway, yeah. So back to the Canucks, back to Demko's injury. I'm not worried. DeSmith has been spectacular. The Canucks have spectacular. Their defense has just been hard to comprehend, hard to connect these two teams. I'm watching the Canucks, and I'm just thinking about the past years. I've got my memory bank sorted out. Okay, this team, I expect certain things. I know where they're going. I know what's happening. But I'm just watching this team, and I'm like, are these the same Canucks? Are there two different Canucks? When did the second team come here and just turn into the greatest team we've ever seen? So, Demko, get back, get healthy. We're looking at the playoffs. Okay, the playoffs are on the horizon here. Okay, it's almost mid-March, and the season is coming to a close. 60 more games. Let's fill it out. Okay, but one thing that is not on the horizon, one thing that is very, very far away, and I often talk about this, if I'm going to mention the NFL in the springtime or any time, I'm not going to bring up, okay, why am I talking about football? Yes, I want to watch it, but there's really nothing that I can do when it's March, okay? It's March. We are just under 6 months away from opening day. From September 5th, I believe it will be. I don't know who the Chiefs are going to play on opening night. I know Philly's playing in Sao Paulo the next day against somebody. But it's just so far away. It's so difficult. Like, I cannot believe that there is a network called the NFL Network that allows a group of people to talk about football in springtime, in March. Good Morning Football? Like, what on earth is this? There is way too much preview and prediction and delineation amongst football. There's way too many pundits out there, and that's maybe why they do this, because they know that these people want to talk about football, but I just don't see it. I don't see why that's good enough to get them to talk about it in springtime. Can we talk about baseball, please? I really, really want baseball season to come as soon as it can be, fast and furious. Can't wait. But Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. Wow, indeed. This is unbelievable. This is crazy. This dude is in his mid-30s and he is cashing in $100 million guaranteed, and that is just a taste. Every year, $45 million, $180 total, 4-year contract. Atlanta Falcons starting QB Kirk Cousins. Look out, NFC South. Something to finally pay attention to in that division. But now it's clear to me, I mean, as a Vikings fan, please get Bo Nix. If you can get Bo Nix, get this man. I want a fully fleshed out guy, the same age as Jefferson. Well, I guess Jefferson will be 25 this year, and Nix already turned 24 back in February. But the two of them combined, a mature quarterback as your rookie starting guy. That's what's so great about these guys. It's tough, you know. You want a guy who has a lot of experience, but you also don't want a guy that becomes your franchise QB, but only for maybe a few years less than you could have had him because of how much older he is and how much his prime is right there. Like, it is right there. Like, Bo Nix is going to be the best that he could possibly be, probably in the next 5 years. 5 or 6, it's really hard to know. You know, quarterbacks can be unbelievable into their 30s and into their 40s, like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have shown us. So that is just, you know, hey, draft a QB, and we're all gonna be happy there. I think the Vikings are not a team that is putting their foot off the pedal. I think just changing up the QB, changing up the defensive line. I don't know if Danielle Hunter is going to go. Probably. I mean, the defense was surprisingly better last year, I feel like, than the year before that. They're just always going to be one of those teams that gives up way too many points. But, you know, you got to keep Jefferson. And, hey, I want them to pay Jefferson because I want to keep him. I want to keep the 25-year-old wide receiver stud over Cousins. Okay? Why? Because Jefferson is younger. He's better at his position. Cousins is spectacular. That guy is last year was just headed up to the very top of the passing yard stats. Probably going to finish top 5, top 3 maybe. And the Vikings would have had a even better record. But a torn Achilles now, and the guy is getting paid. I mean, that is just great for him. That really is. Because he is going to do a lot of good things in that division. That division is not built with the Eagles and the Cowboys of the world. But the New York Giants have just lost their franchise player. The only real offensive talent that was going to bring it every single game, you could put your stamp of approval on, and you could guarantee that in Saquon Barkley. So he's gone for 3 years, $37.75 million. Yeah, this one is very odd. I thought he was going to the Cowboys, but still, even that, was difficult to kind of picture him in a Cowboys jersey. I didn't know if I could do that, if I could actually picture him in a Cowboys jersey. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, let's get Derrick Henry, okay? Because Derrick Henry, he is, I mean, you don't want to say that he's ever underrated because he always appears to be doing some great things. But I think just because his age, he's at age 30 already. So we're thinking that there's going to be this huge decline all of a sudden, but I just don't think that's the case, especially if the Cowboys think that their window is closing. Get another guy whose window is closing. Make it a combination window closing engagement. Josh Jacobs to Green Bay seems completely superfluous because Aaron Jones just played out of his mind in the playoffs. He was spectacular. I mean, he was phenomenal. Okay, no more spectaculars. Caught myself there. He was phenomenal. He was brilliant. He was remarkable against the 49ers, against the Cowboys. But Josh Jacobs did haul in, what was it, like 1,800 rushing yards a couple years ago. And he's younger, I suppose. They're seeing that. They're seeing A.J. Dillon is unreliable, even though that guy's probably like maybe not more athletic, but he's definitely just more of a unit. Josh Jacobs is just a battering ram. So they want him, A.J. Dillon. I mean, this defense, does it get better? I don't know. Maybe. Is Jacobs more reliable? This is a 4-year deal, so we don't need to judge it right away. But good for the guy. He's getting paid. I mean, the running back market. And then, Derrick Henry obviously being out. Tony Pollard steps in to Tennessee. I'm looking at who these guys are adding, which teams are adding who. And then I'm looking at, okay, well, which teams have which picks in the draft? Because I cannot wait for the draft to come. And that'll probably be the next time that I talk about football. But still, I mean, there's still a lot of great things that can happen. It's not like I'm trying to avoid it. It's just I really want to be more amped up about the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL. And, of course, Major League Baseball starts on the 28th, Thursday of March. And I'm going to be giving that my undivided attention. But, hey, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift to the Bears, Eckler to the Commanders. That's a lot of good stuff as well. I mean, that's really impressive. I'm really, really skeptical of Eckler, though, because his production, it's going to be completely dependent on, not necessarily, like DeAndre Swift, perhaps you can definitely assume that his production is going to go up, his play ability alongside Caleb Williams. When I'm mentioning Eckler, I'm more skeptical on his ability to run the ball because for a while there, he kind of was playing like what's that guy on the Jets? Dalvin Cook. It looked like he was just averaging 2 yards a carry. Like Eckler, his ability to run really wasn't there, and Herbert wasn't there as well at the end of the year. Maybe I'm just thinking about his overall stat line. But even the year before that, he got a lot of catches because Herbert was there to lead the way for him. So if he's getting Jaden Daniels or if he's getting Drake May, I think both of those guys, obviously they can get him the ball, but he's getting the catch, he's getting the yards after the catch. That's where he was making his bread and butter with the Chargers. Age 29, I don't want to be like, okay, there's a huge falling off period, because as far as I'm concerned, until we see that, it's not going to happen. Okay, Christian McCaffrey is going to be 27, 28 this year, maybe, I don't know, but there isn't going to be a sudden drop off for guys like him, for guys like Derrick Henry. But Eckler, we're seeing it, and there's not like, especially when we're seeing, excuse me. We're seeing the running back by committee more and more. So it is nice to see guys like Saquon getting their money, guys like Jacobs getting their money. But the overall usage of guys like Eckler, I can see DeAndre Swift 100% being able to run a whole lot more because he doesn't have to worry about Justin Fields once Caleb Williams comes in there. But guys like Eckler, guys like Pollard, it's going to be a little bit difficult because of these running on committees. You're going to have other guys in there, A.J. Dillon for Green Bay most likely, and Tajay Spears for the Titans. But anyway, we're going to be covering a whole lot more. We're going to be getting baseball and hockey and basketball, just following that, just always making sure that we're following up on that. Whatever, we're gonna be, obviously the Canucks. That's our main focus here. So yeah, Canucks and all the other additions. NFL free agency so far, it's been wild. Great day one, great. Just unbelievable stuff is going on, and I'm sure it's just going to continue all week. So we're going to be getting more of that on probably Friday morning.